Caitlin has brought a ton of new opportunity, a ton of new eyeballs, and more money to the sport. So instead of downplaying the magnitude of who she is and what she's brought, enjoy the ride and take advantage of the ride.
Caitlin Clark has been named Time's Athlete of the Year, but instead of basking in the spotlight, she's caught in a wave of unexpected backlash. Surprisingly, some of the strongest support is coming from NBA champions, and their statements are taking the internet by storm. But here's the twist. Where's the WNBA in all of this? This unfolding story is sparking conversations that could change the way you see women's basketball forever. Let's dive in.
She's unbelievable talent. You know, the things that she's doing is great in her own right. She's creating her own space, she's doing her own thing.
Before we dive into the NBA champions' reactions, let's set the stage. Caitlin Clark's Time Athlete of the Year win seemed like a huge victory for women's basketball until criticism came from an unlikely source. Sheila Johnson, co-owner of the Washington Mystics and a powerhouse in the business world, spoke out during a CNN interview, leaving fans puzzled. Here's what happened next.
A second right now to have a moment of silence for Washington Mystics owner Sheila Johnson, who suggested that the WNBA as a whole should have been on the cover of Time magazine instead of just Caitlin Clark, who graced the cover last week, which is probably some of the stupidest I've ever heard.
Sheila Johnson argued that the WNBA as a whole deserved the spotlight, not just Caitlin Clark. When you keep singling out one player, it creates hard feelings, she said, seemingly downplaying the Iowa Stars' incredible achievements. But her remarks stirred deeper controversy. Johnson brought up the sensitive issue of race in sports recognition, expressing concern for players of color who she believes are just as talented, but often overlooked. "I feel really bad," she admitted, adding another layer to an already heated debate.
It's just the structure of the way media plays out race. I'm going to be very honest. I feel really bad because I've seen so many players of color that are equally as talented, and they never got the recognition that they should have. And I think right now, it is time for that to
break it down. Caitlin Clark's impact on women's basketball is undeniable. Her games have been smashing attendance records and drawing massive crowds. The excitement she's generated has skyrocketed viewership, bringing new fans to the sport. Despite the controversy, some surprising voices are stepping in to defend her. And guess what? NBA champions are leading the charge, and their bold responses to Clark's critics are making waves. Let's hear what they have to say.
Ratings continue to drop over 30% as they try to figure out who is going to fill the shoes of LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry. The WNBA has a golden goose sitting in their league and has done, it's gotten better, but has done everything to kind of discredit the momentum and eyeballs she's brought to this.
You've heard the critics. Now it's time to meet the defenders. NBA champions Matt Barnes and Trevor Ariza are stepping up, and when these seasoned pros speak, people listen. But what could two basketball veterans possibly have to say about a college phenom turned WNBA rookie? Their words are about to shake the basketball world to its core.
The Mystics' entire attendance was in 2 games the Caitlin team played against the Mystics. The Sparks, the Aces, the Mystics, the Dream, all moved games when Fever came in town because of the attention that Caitlin and her teammates have drawn that last season. Fever's jersey sales was up 1,000% and attendance was up 250%. And they had the largest attendance on average per year, just over 17,000.
Matt Barnes, a former NBA player with a championship ring, isn't just talking basketball. He's laying down some hard truths about Caitlin Clark in the WNBA on his podcast. Barnes didn't mince words.
Say this, Caitlin Clark deserves all the flowers. I think she took a lot of, and a lot of skeptics coming into the league, as she should. Like, she had to really prove herself. Missed out on the Olympic opportunity. And really had a lot of hard knocks early on in the season where she was getting beat up and her teammates were just watching her. I think the camaraderie in that locker room grew and that team started playing together and made the playoffs, made a nice little run, And
But Barnes didn't stop with defending Clark. He turned his attention to the WNBA itself. He openly criticized the league, calling it out for what he sees as a major missed opportunity. His bold remarks have sparked a conversation that could challenge the WNBA's approach to promoting its players.
Caitlin is someone who has, if you look at it, done everything you're supposed to do, and has been criticized along every step of the way. Again, she's damned if she does, and she's damned if she doesn't.
According to Barnes, the WNBA has a golden goose in Clark, but instead of embracing her star power, they've done everything to kind of discredit the momentum and eyeballs she has brought to this game. It's a bold statement from an NBA veteran essentially accusing the WNBA of fumbling what could be a game-changing moment for women's basketball.
Amazing job with, like you said, telling the story. And the players are actually doing their thing when they get there,
yes,
too. You know, like you mentioned, these couple of players, but Caitlin being the one that we're speaking about right now, she is kicking everybody's ass.
Barnes isn't the only one stepping up for Clark. Trevor Ariza, another NBA champion, has also joined the conversation, backing Barnes' stance. Ariza sees something extraordinary in Clark, even comparing her influence to legends like Larry Bird. For him, it's not just about her talent on the court. It's about her unique ability to captivate audiences and draw new fans to the sport.
To compare from what we've seen from the NBA, it would, in her effect, probably something similar to Larry Bird.
The support from NBA stars like Barnes and Ariza for Caitlin Clark carries immense weight. These aren't just players, they're champions and respected voices in the basketball world. When they speak, both fans and industry insiders take notice. Their defense is bringing attention to a troubling gap between Clark's soaring popularity and the criticism she's facing within her own league. Barnes emphasized this, pointing out the historical significance of her achievements and why they shouldn't be overshadowed by controversy.
The people say it's not just her, there's other players, and again, we're not distracted. We understand the depth of talent in that league, but when you also see the numbers that back up the fact that Caitlin has a huge effect. Caitlin Clark is responsible for nearly 27% of the WNBA's league-wide activity in 2024, including attendance. 1 in 6 tickets sold at the WNBA arena attributed to Caitlin Clark. TV viewership was up 300% with Caitlin.
The message is clear. Caitlin Clark isn't just a standout player for herself or her team. She's a game changer for women's basketball as a whole. This unexpected alliance between NBA champions and a rising WNBA star is transforming the conversation. It's no longer just about Clark's individual accomplishments or the controversy surrounding her Time Athlete of the Year award. These NBA voices are shining a spotlight on bigger issues, questioning how women's basketball markets its stars and whether the WNBA is truly leveraging the excitement and momentum Clark brings to the sport.
You know, they continue to push the game to the next level, you know, and you look at where the NBA was and now where the NBA is at now. And although everyone doesn't agree with the style of play, these guys have taken it to the next level as far as the business of basketball. Right. And I think that's what Caitlin will affect, is the business of women's basketball, man. So we wish them the best. Definitely excited to see these upcoming seasons and these women continue to do their thing.
As Barnes and Ariza's comments continue to spread, they're not just getting people talking about Clark's skills on the court. They're sparking a broader conversation about athlete marketability, the future of women's sports, and the WNBA's role in it all. But this is just the start. Another respected NBA figure is about to weigh in, and his perspective could change everything. If you're enjoying the video so far, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We really appreciate you taking the time to watch. Now, let's dive back in.
Congratulations to Caitlin Clark for being named Time Athlete of the Year. I get why people are so upset. I'm a basketball player and a basketball fan. There's a lot of dynamics and a lot of layers to this thing when it deals with Caitlin Clark. But I will say that this is just my opinion. It's certain people, I don't care if you're black, white, Spanish, from Europe, it doesn't matter, that have it, that draw something, okay? And Caitlin is one.
Now, former NBA star and analyst Jim Jackson is stepping into the conversation with his own take on Caitlin Clark's impact. His insights are set to add a fresh perspective to the debate, diving deep into the complexities of marketability in women's basketball. Get ready.
Business. When Nike signs a athlete, okay, they want to get an ROI, return on their investment. How do they do that? Because that athlete resonates. You understand that Caitlin Clark, her jerseys, her apparel, if she has an apparel deal, her shoes will...
Break it down. Caitlin Clark's impact on women's basketball is undeniable. Her games have been smashing attendance records and drawing massive crowds. The excitement she's generated has skyrocketed viewership, bringing new fans to the sport. Despite the controversy, some surprising voices are stepping in to defend her. And guess what? NBA champions are leading the charge, and their bold responses to Clark's critics are making waves. Let's hear what they have to say.
Be considered better, maybe a Kevin Durant. But the market, to market Kevin Durant is a lot different than marketing Steph Curry. People resonate with Steph Curry a lot more than a KD. Now, that may be KD's personality, okay? He doesn't really care. I'm just using KD.
As Barnes and Ariza's comments continue to spread, they're not just getting people talking about Clark's skills on the court. They're sparking a broader conversation about athlete marketability, the future of women's sports, and the WNBA's role in it all. But this is just the start. Another respected NBA figure is about to weigh in, and his perspective could change everything. If you're enjoying the video so far, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We really appreciate you taking the time to watch. Now, let's dive back in.
Caitlin is more marketable because people tend to resonate. I don't care, black, white, whatever it may be. Now, there is a race component to it. It always will be in some regards, okay? But the player itself, the person, what she was able to do, how she resonated, how she drew eyes to the TV. I don't agree with the Mystics owner saying that the whole WNBA should have been named up, because that's not true. The whole WNBA benefited this year from the viewership increase.